Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Great Conversations. Today's episode is all about e-commerce from a technical perspective as well as from a marketing perspective. And with me in today's show is Greg from Omnisend. He's an e-commerce expert. And Greg, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Doing well, Thomas. I hope you are, and I'm excited to be here. I'm going to rely on you for the technical today. I'll handle the marketing. We'll see where we can find some synergies right in the middle there.
Yeah, exactly. Synergy is, the most important thing when it comes down to building a successful e-commerce business, where we have the technical part as well as the marketing part, and everything needs to be together. So maybe introduce yourself to our audience a bit and talk about what you're doing at Omnisend.
Sure thing. So, Omnisend, for those unfamiliar, we are an email and SMS marketing automation platform built for kind of users of all levels. So, especially in the SMB space, so small to mid-sized businesses, but we have solopreneurs that are doing everything themselves, all the way up to enterprise companies. Super intuitive platform. So, if you've used any sort of marketing platform before, you'll be familiar with how to use OmniSend, and then we are just a legit platform here. So 24/7 live customer support, regardless if you're on a free plan, a paid plan. Integrate with plug and play integrations of most e-commerce platforms. So you think about WooCommerce, Shopify of those natures. We integrate with WordPress. So check us out. We're here. We're open people. Myself, been with OmniSend for a little over 5 years now, helping them grow. I've been in email marketing for almost 20 years now. I think I'm 19 plus. So it's been a really long time I've been in the email game. So a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have stayed the same. But as technology moves, as you would know, Thomas,
Yeah.
everything else kind of has to follow suit and fit in with that. And that's why we're talking today.
Nice, nice. Since you already mentioned WooCommerce, a lot of our customers, especially with Greyd, use WooCommerce as their technical base for the web platform or the web shop itself. Since we are a software which enables customers to build WordPress websites on a no code to low code base, we're very much integrated into all sorts of e-commerce solutions inside of WordPress, especially WooCommerce. So, for example, we made it possible in WooCommerce that you basically can build any part of the WooCommerce webshop interface with blocks, with like the newly introduced site editor already. So it's very easy actually to build custom made solutions for WooCommerce and for WordPress with our solution. And one of the topics I want to talk to you about, especially when we're talking about keeping our customers or the customers of web shops, basically as long as possible into our shop experience in the whole shopping funnel, so to say, uh, is, for example, that we're trying to achieve almost every time tailor-made content for them. And as I understand correctly, you at Omnisend do the same thing with, for example, with like messaging, with emails, sort of that stuff. How do you achieve that?
Yeah. So you touched on something. We could probably spend 4 hours talking about this, but the technology side, right? So you want people to be able to scale with the business as the business grows. We're in a tough economic time right now, economic uncertainty right now. So as you mentioned, keeping customers around longer than ever, it's more important now, especially on the D2C side. Uh, but the goal here is that you can't scale a business if you don't have the technology in place. And those technologies we have, a lot of companies will have 5 to 20 different vendors doing different things that those things all need to integrate with. So when it comes to marketing, especially email marketing, which is typically a lower cost, high ROI channel, that's going to integrate really well with e-com platforms. So, if you're focused on, say, dynamic content on a web page, right, product recommendations, things like that, you want those things to carry over to your emails as well, but you want to make it easy for the user to actually build those things, right? So, yeah, I joke around. I said I've been in email for 20 years. I remember doing segmentation 18 years ago, and we'd have to send a request to our IT department, do a MySQL, you know, uh, what is it, query or whatever to get the segments back from it. And now you can just go in there and they have AI that'll build segments for you, but pre-built segments, right? So the user has to be able to go in there very quickly, use the ecom data. So whether that's purchase data, whether it's browsing behavior, whatever it is, apply that over and integrate that into your email marketing campaigns, your SMS marketing campaigns. Do that in a couple clicks to make, efficient, time efficient decisions and time efficient marketing campaigns so that you can sell more. And, it's a very high level view of it, but, everything you guys are doing, we need to do on our side. We need to make sure we're talking back and forth. And it, regardless of what ecom platform you use, what email provider you're using, those things are kind of imperative. You got to have them. Otherwise, it's patchwork, right? And it's going to be so hard to scale.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you need to, at the end of the day, you need to automate these kind of
Yeah.
processes, because whether you're like it's because you have a small team and you're just starting out with building like your own platform, starting out to reach out to the customers through several channels. I mean, it comes down to, yeah, like the amount of people you have to work with at the end of the day. On the other side, if you're successful and you build up a successful e-commerce platform, then you could be overwhelmed with customers coming, actually, and then you have the other problem, which is then like a problem. Okay, you get the customers, you get the purchases, but yeah, you want to grow, you want to scale over time, and that's a quite important factor. Yeah.
So I know we're going to talk about automation today, so I don't want to jump in quite yet, but you touched right what you just said there. You touched on a really big thing. And I used to, when I did consulting with clients, I used to kind of run into this as well. You get the customer, and a lot of people go, "Oh, mission accomplished," right? We got the sale. There's so much that comes after that, that if you don't focus on those things, you're going to wind up churning that customer, and you're going to be paying retargeting dollars to get that customer back, which you already paid to get them the first time. So I know we'll touch on this today, but you hit on the you hit the nail on the head perfectly by saying automate as much as possible and have the tools do the work for you. I know we're going to get into that today, so maybe that little Easter egg for people.
Yeah, maybe this could be actually the first perfect time to actually do a little screen share as well, since you already mentioned the possibility to, yeah, what, or the thing what to do with a revisiting customer. We already had one sale with that specific customer. We know some informations about him. So what was the last purchase, for example? We could, when he visits our shop again, we could give him a welcome message, a welcome back message, for example, if we had some data stored in a cookie or somewhere else. We know what he has purchased. So maybe we already know like a product which would fit perfect in that sense of his first purchase, for example. And therefore, we at Greyd, we have some couple of solutions. So, since we already talked about, yeah, doing something with revisiting customers where they might already purchased some of our products in a shop, we have already some data which we can work on, and therefore we have actually developed a solution by accident. And Greg, you might already knows conditions, for example, inside a form field. So you type in something in form field A, get response B, for example. And what we did is, as I told you by accident, we developed a solution to make this possible in an entire website scale. So we made conditions based on the different, for example, UTM parameters like ad campaigns or cookies or user role informations available in a WordPress website. So, for example, in my screen share, I will show you real quick what, for example, could happen if a user already, yeah, bought something for his living room, and we now know, okay, he might be interested in some new sofas, some new couches, and we want to specifically give him, for example, a voucher or a offer with like 70% off of all our new arrivals of couches. So currently, by standard, we have 40% off of selected sofas in our website. And now, if we are a yeah, revisiting user, which has already maybe subscribed to a newsletter or clicked on some email marketing campaign, we can send them over with a parameter, for example, or with a cookie. And in this case, we could go with sale equals true as an example, and we scroll down. And instead of 40% of selected sofas, we now have like 70% of selected sofa. We update accordingly all of our selected products in the shop itself, and he can like look over what we have available in here, like this sofa or other products. And for example, if we know more about the customer, and if we know the customer needs maybe like more products on his homepage directly, we could even customize this by some other parameters. I will show that in the backend because it's really easy to do. As I already mentioned, we're a no-code to low-code solution. We don't rely on actual coding skills to build something like that. Uh, we have our blocks here, our structure of the website, and therefore you see our solution, which is our custom block conditional content, where we can specifically activate and deactivate content on specific kinds of conditions. For example, parameters like an individual parameter in our case here, or we could use Google campaign parameters from opt-in, opt-outs. Um, this is always a matrix, so we can like do if-when cycles if we want that. We can as well nest these elements, and if we want to give our visitor more options, we could, for example, instead of using this section, which is currently displayed when a specific filter isn't set, if we use the parameter filter equals true, we could even display this in a parameter chain. And let's say filter equals true. And instead of that section down below, now we have all of our products available, even with a live front-end filtering, which we could set up based on product categories, some other taxonomies. We're completely flexible in that to give the user utmost completely like customized user experience in the front end. What could be or in your opinion, when we're talking about marketing campaigns or newsletters or stuff like that, I mean, what do you think about that solution in combination with the Omnisend tools?
Yeah. So first of all, I think the solution is important, right? Because it underscores the fact that people want a relevant shopping experience, and that means marketing messages, that means browsing experience, means a search experience, whatever they're doing. Excuse me. So what I like about that is I love, by the way, it's furniture because that's the one thing. It's probably a really good use case for it to say, okay, I've gone to your website, I bought a brown couch. If I'm back on your website, chances are I'm not shopping for a brown couch again. I already bought a couch. It's a high end ticket, but I'm back on your website. So what am I looking at? Maybe the accessories, coffee tables, is it throw pillows, is it whatever it might be? So I always talk about high intent, right? We talk about high intent stages of the journey. If I'm on your website, there's some sort of intent there. It doesn't have to be high, but there is an intent. There's a reason I'm there. So I just want to say that because it's important that if we can get you from one place to another and we give that relevant experience, then we could use that same relevant experience to tie future marketing campaigns into it. So how I look at it is a couple different ways to answer your question. Uh, One, we can use, say you have a pop-up that comes up, right? So we can put parameters in that pop-up through Omnisend, and you can have, okay, where'd they come from, right? So you can put a UTM in there. Did they come from Facebook, TikTok, whatever? And you can have then cross-reference that with, are they a current subscriber? Are they not a subscriber? Are they a customer? Are they not a customer? Right? A couple little toggles, and we can have a pop-up that maybe if we know you're a subscriber, but you're coming back and you're a customer, that we don't have to ask you, give you a pop-up to say, hey, join our list or join our SMS list and get 10% off. We can just do an informational pop-up. Hey, welcome back, or hey, flash sale 24 hours on all, duvet covers or whatever it might be, 20% off, right? So we start to tie those things together a little bit. Again, make it a little more relevant. From there, let's say we're shopping those accessories, or they're shopping a couch, right? They haven't bought a couch yet. So
Yeah.
checking out, they're looking, they're using the product filtering there, and they click on something like a chaise lounge, and then they leave the website. Well, we can use that data to integrate it. Again, your e-commerce platforms integrate with your marketing campaigns, your marketing platform. So, okay, Greg was over here, checked out the chaise lounge, left. Let's automate a message off to them, product abandonment or browse abandonment message based on however you want to structure that. And the difference is product is message regarding a specific product they were looking at.
Yeah.
Browse is more generic, right? Think about categories,
Yeah.
couches, brown couches. So we can trigger that message off to them, say 4 hours later, 2 hours later, or 1 day later, just to remind them to come back. But if it's a brown chaise, I can use that message to give them detailed product information. What do they need to know about this lunch? Why is it better than the other ones? We could put secondary content in there to say, hey, here's some other similar top rated products. But we can also use that to reinforce value add. Why should I shop with you? If I'm a returning customer, you already know you're obviously happy with the purchase because you're back. But we can also say, oh, it's a first time customer. Maybe we
Mhm.
want to incentivize them. Maybe we'll reinforce those value adds. Hey, free shipping, 100% satisfaction guarantee, 180-day guarantee return, whatever it might be. So what we're doing is we're taking that person wherever they're coming from. They're going to the website. We're giving them a nice experience there. They leave the website. We've got that data flowing over to the email campaigns or the SMS campaigns, which, by the way, we can also sync in our in Omnisend to like Facebook retargeting. So if they purchase,
Mhm.
right? So we can hopefully reduce our retargeting costs on paid social or paid search. And like I hate using the term flywheel, but it's really a flywheel, right? It's just the circular nature of it. And hopefully those messages get them to come back at a much cheaper cost than like a paid social or paid retargeting cost. And we just keep going, right? We move them along that next step of the journey. If they come back, right, we go from intent to high intent or
Mhm.
higher intent. And we just keep moving them down. We make that experience so good. It's hard for them to say, no, I don't want to shop with you. I want to shop somewhere else, right? And they're probably going to price compare anyways, but you've already got them hooked a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You're going to make it hard for them to say no. And I think that's like, these are very simple things. You showed us how to very easily do it,
Yeah.
right? And it's super easy on the email side as well. It's like a couple clicks. It's really what it takes. Couple minutes to build a workflow out, and it just runs in the background. Those messages are highly powerful, which I know we'll talk about, but
Yeah.
like it's a long answer to your question, Thomas. But yeah, you could start to piece together. Hey, if I do this, I go over here, I get this, and that it brings me back to there, and then you can fill in those gaps however you want to fill in those gaps.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you mentioned a couple of things which always come in mind to me, as well as a. I mean, at the end of the day, we all use e-commerce shops to buy our stuff all the time, and we all run into shops which are whether, yeah, like the entire shopping experience is feels like almost broken because you don't have like these constant user flows where you find all your informations all the time when you need it. And one thing you mentioned, which is quite interesting, like with the whole social media aspect, because I saw this as well on my Instagram a lot of, and in like in Facebook as well, is more and more shops, especially when it comes to like the furniture shops and stuff like that. They have actually like images of like completely what's the perfect word in English? I just need to think about that. It's like staged environments. So you have a perfectly staged living room with your couch, with your desk, with all the little accessories. And they just have these like call to actions, these hotspots on these images to actually click on that and get more information. And that's actually really interesting, and especially interesting for like a furniture store, because what is a couch? What is a brown couch? What is a gray couch? How does it look? I mean, I pay like 7,000 or $6,000 for one piece of furniture. So I want to make sure that the color is right, that it feels good. And yeah, it's a difficult thing to sell actually on a yeah, on an online store, because you can't sit on that couch at that moment. So you need to build yeah, a good user experience actually. Uh,
Yeah, and part of that is building trust, right? You can't sit on the couch, like you said. You've got to build trust between the brand. If they've never shopped with you, you've got to again convince them to buy with you. How do you do that? Well, it's going to be relevant messaging. It's going to be a good on-site experience. It's going to be good customer service. It's these small things that a lot of brands don't think about because they're like, oh, it's so easy. You can launch a store based on what e-com platform you want to use in 20 minutes, right? And it's up and running. That doesn't mean it's the best store, but it's a store, right? You can integrate an email platform. Like you can integrate Omnisend in literally like 3 minutes, right? A couple clicks and make it easy for you. Doesn't mean you're going to send good emails. You've got to do like, you've got to think through these things a little bit. And that's where the trust building comes in.
yeah.
And by the way, no one's family room ever looks like that, right? If you have kids, it will looks nowhere like that. It looks beautiful. That's the dream. That's the wish. But
Yeah.
we all know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So since we in Greyd try to give our users all the features necessary to build like these trust sections, these trust segments, actually we made the solutions as well to integrate in the shop interface such a thing that a like that you can display a almost staged living room, and you have all the different pieces and assets and accessories for your living room, so you have an entire shopping experience, like almost yeah, like in like with little hotspots and everything else. I can show you real quick because that's interesting as well. We can, for example, integrate here as well form fields and stuff like that. It's completely interactive. I just scroll down here. So as you see here, we have a completely staged, yeah, living room, and we just want to see what that couch costs at the end of the day, and we just click on that. We can directly put this into our shopping cart if we want to, or we go into the details page, look into like what are the options, what are the colors. Okay, oh, that vase looks nice. I will buy it as well. Maybe that vase will be my first purchase, but I already have like an entire experience, like a shopping experience, an interactive experience to yeah, keep me as a customer as long as possible on the website. Yeah. And for example, what could be possible as well, if someone comes over a like a campaign mail through Omnisend on the website, we display, for example, certain assets here as well directly live into our hotspot block. Could be a possible solution as well.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to replicate not try to replicate the in-store experience as much as possible. You're trying to replicate a good experience, right? And good's going to be, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I think most people have, we've been shopping online long enough, been shopping in store long enough that people have an idea about what good is, right? And then can you make it a little bit better and make it more intuitive and more efficient? And I think this is like, that's a good example of, right, we keep hearing about different tools, AI, and all these things that are going to like these tools that are like, oh, it's going to revolutionize the online shopping experience. And the reality is, we're like, those tools are great. Some of the new ones are great, but they're still in kind of testing phase. And like, is it something consumers are asking for, or is it something we're giving them? And a lot of times it's what we're giving them. That's something where consumers might not know they want it, but when they get there and see it and they start interacting with it, like, you know what, that's pretty good because it doesn't change the experience. They don't have to learn something new. It just makes it better. Right. And that's the name of the game. We make it a little bit better and we just keep going up that ladder.
Yeah. Since you mentioned already the buzzword, which everyone is talking about, AI, I need to ask, obviously. So, what AI integration does Omnisend already have? So, how do you approach the whole AI thing?
So we use it. I mean, we're using it everywhere and we're continuing to build into our platform literally daily. Like there's Slack messages like, hey, we put this into our platform today, rolling it out to all customers soon. But so we already have tools. They're free. You don't need them, but they're built in the platform as well. But we already have tools on our website that are like product uh, product description generators, subject line testers, things like this, ROI calculators inside the platform. AI built segments for you, suggested segments. We have churn possibilities. So we kind of rank customers based on, are they a loyal customer? How close are they to churning? Things like this. We've got email creators, we've got image creators. The update today was tone of voice with your image and your email copywriter. So you can have it write an email for you, but you can also put your brand tone of voice in there, which is important. You want to be authentic. So these things aren't slowing down. They're just picking up. Again, we're not trying to jam everything in the world into the platform. We're jamming things in there that either customers have asked for because we are customer funded, we're organically funded. We don't have investors. So we need our customers to do well because that helps us do well. So we ask them, what do you need? And we look at those things. We say, okay, let's build that in a platform. Uh, but again, we're trying to make people's lives easier, make their marketing better. And that's our goal. So when we talk about, 2 minutes ago about how to make the shopping experience better, we're trying to do the same thing, but for marketers and business owners.
Yeah. Yeah, we're currently as well like starting to integrate more and more of like the capabilities of AI into our system, um, but not that much in a content based perspective. What we want to try to achieve, and we're currently starting with the development of this, and is that we actually empower the website or the web shop or software itself to learn from user behavior and user data. So we, for example, analyze the funnel on of our customers. So what is the web or the subpage the customer like start browsing onto the site? So what is the way they always go? And then over time we have data about our user behavior, and then the AI, for example, could start like displaying, okay, we need a call to action here. We need that section here. Maybe introduce an image there. So over time, the website itself improves based on the user behavior of their actual live users. So that's what we're trying to achieve, because at the end of the day, for us, that could be like the most beneficial part where we can optimize how long a user is on our website, and as well from a user perspective that they always get the information and data they need at a certain specific point of time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good example, right? Product recommendations are one of those things that, like, I mean, you showed it on the website, right? Hey, if they're doing this, let's recommend relevant products. Product recommendations have been around for, at least 15 years, but it's a lot easier to do now. It's a lot more efficient. It's a lot smarter. It's a lot better. So we talk about AI from a shopping experience. So Omnisend, we do a lot of different reports. We look at the e-commerce industry as a whole, not just email marketing. We did a report a few months ago, and they're not gated. They're on our website. You can just go and click over to the resources section of the reports and check them out and browse them at your leisure. But we did one on AI. I think it came out like 6 weeks ago ish, maybe four. But what consumers want from an AI experience with brands, right? So we talk about all these grand things, these new platforms coming down and all this stuff. And what do they want the most? They want the things that are comfortable and familiar to them. So it's better product recommendations, or intuitive discounts, right? So more personalized discounts. You showed that before, going from 40% to 70% based on historical data, and better customer service. And I mean, that's the one thing that is getting better. The AI chatbots and things like that. A couple of years ago, they were really bad. Significant improvement now, right? And they're actually effective for most. But those are the three things people want the most, right? And if you think about that, again, they want things to make their experience a little bit better. They don't want a revolutionary experience. And I think everything we're talking about today kind of hits that. How do we do it better, quicker, more efficiently, save us time, get more sales out of it?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting part. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look into it personally, I mean, as you mentioned, most of the time you're researching in the internet before you're buying a product. You research, you look at that platform, this platform, and the platform which gives you the best user experience at the end of the day is the most trustworthy platform, and that's the platform who gets the sale at the end of the day. Yeah, and that I think everyone has to have in the mind all the time, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel all the time. Stick to the elements which work, improve them, improve like the user experience at the end of the day. Yeah. All right. One thing I want to talk about with you is as well when it comes to scale an actual e-commerce platform when it's already up and running and it's already successful. Do you have some of yeah, real life customer experience you can share with like companies who used Omnisend to have a whether it's a WooCommerce based platform or another web shop platform when they, for example, scale, they have a lot of different web shops up and running. How do they manage all sorts of data with these different platforms?
Yeah, I'll give you the shameless plug answer, which will be, and then I'll give you a real answer. But we've got a whole page of success stories. You can always check them out on omnisend.com. Uh, so it's like, hey, how do we pick between like some of your favorite kids or whatever? And I always look at scaling is hard, right? And scaling is not a quick one hit wonder type thing, right? You've got to take. We talked about having a holistic program. We've got this to work right, which feeds this, which feeds this, which feeds this, which makes that better. Scaling is exactly that. Email is that, SMS is that, web push notifications are that, social media is that, everything is that. So there's a company, called Bella Fever. So jewelry company, right? And it's one of these things where, you know, product abandonment. They're like, hey, I heard someone like Greg talk about product abandonment or whatever. But again, it's behavior based automation, it's intent based automation. And they went through and created a product abandonment message and it's killing it for 'em, right? And you're seeing these incremental sales. And all those sales then come in with, if I can capture you 3 days before someone else and you don't go to someone else, it's 3 days I don't need to retarget you and pay to retarget you on other channels, whether it's social, search, whatever it is. I've got a cost controlled way to do that. Worst case scenario, I know if you engage and you come back again, you still don't buy, I've got now another intent signal, right? And maybe we're checking other products, but I could still retarget it. And that's really how it's this like entrepreneurs will always say it's a great life, but it's death by a thousand paper cuts, right? Every day is a paper cut with
Mm.
something. I look at scaling a business kind of the same way, right? It doesn't have to be like paper cut painful, but you've got to do the small things and you've got to keep doing them well. So what I'm looking for here is, right, automations, it's going to send 24 hours a day. It's based on behavior. So, what is a customer actually doing or prospective customer actually doing? And then, how do we send a relevant message to those people to get them to take an action? 24 hours a day. You don't need manual involvement outside the initial setup, which is super easy. Uh, and then, how do we rely on those? And then, to do that, we've got to grow our email list. So, how do we do an effective pop up? So, if I'm scaling today, right, first thing I do is I get a pop-up, right? I try to customize that as much as possible. And again, by customize, if you're just starting out or you're experimenting with it, right? It's a couple clicks of a button and then you can get further. But collecting email addresses, I've got a two-step form that's collecting an SMS or a mobile number. Even if I don't launch a SMS program, I get an indication whether my customers want that, right? If they're giving me their numbers, they want it. If they're not, I'm good, but I'm ready to launch when I'm good to go there. I don't make the mobile number required field completely optional. Let them close out. Don't bait them into like, hey, 15% off for signing up for an email. And then they go to step two and they're like, oh, for 50% off, give us your phone number. No, just let the email work. Let it cook, as my kids would say. Right. And that, uh, we collect it. So that's step one. We've got to get the email addresses coming in. Step two, I set up a couple automations. Now, every single automation, regardless of the type, will perform better than a scheduled campaign message or a batch blast message. Even lapsed purchaser or unengaged context, they perform better. But that doesn't mean they're all equal. So I prioritize my automations. There's three that will drive the most bang for the buck. And then there's two other ones that I would highly encourage you to do. So the three I'm talking about: welcome messages. So brand new email subscribers, they get a welcome message, email, SMS, whatever it is. Uh, Second one would be product abandonment or browse abandonment,
Mm.
right? And the third one would be cart abandonment. Those are the three that are going to drive more than 80% of the revenue from an email, from an automated email standpoint, I should say. Skipped over a big thing here, Thomas. Why is automation so important? So last year, we do these stat reports. I dig through the numbers, right? So last year, we sent over 25 billion email messages. 37% of all orders from email messages, those 25 billion, 37% of the orders came in from automated messages. So you're looking at nearly 40%. 2% of email sends. So 30% of the sales came from 2% of sends. That's why automation is so critical for you. It's not a secret why though. It's we talk about in 10 stages. What are they doing when they sign up for an email program? Well, they're on your website. They're probably not familiar with you, but there's something there that took them to the website. Could have been an ad, could have been a friend, could have been whatever. But there is something there. There's an intent. Browse abandonment, we already talked about that, right? There's an intent. They've gone a step further. Uh, Cart abandonment, obvious intent. They put a product in their shopping cart. So those are the three that are going to give you the best bang for the buck. So that's where I go to start. And then the other two, back in stock messages is the best performing one. It's just lower volume send, right? Because by the way, you can uh, create a back in stock, sign up on the website if you want to. So products out of stock, right? Put the email address in, comes on, you trigger it off. Extremely high performing messages, just low volume, right? So post purchase messages, we talked about this, kind of skirted it early in the conversation, but what do I do after I get the sale? Well, we want to upsell, we want to cross sell, but we also need to reinforce trust, right? So I know this isn't live, but as of today, the consumer confidence report in the US just came out a couple hours ago. Lo and behold, it dropped again, right? It tanked, right? We saw it during Black Friday, Cyber Monday last year. Fewer overall orders, but the average order value of those orders increased. So people are spending with fewer companies, but they're spending more with the ones they're choosing from. You've got to capture the sales everywhere you can. So post purchase is an easy retention play here. And we can get into these strategies if you want, but when I talk about post purchase, I'm not talking about just like upsell email, cross sell email, upsell email, cross sell email. Those are fine. It's good secondary content as well. I'm talking about making the experience better. So let's use the furniture example you showed us, right? Buy a couch. What do I need to know about that couch? How to clean it, how to properly care
Yeah.
for it, maybe, right? Easy the experience. The My idea of a post purchase is how do I make the customer experience better? How do I make that purchase experience better? Does it benefit the customer, not the company? They will convert for you. They will come back and shop. Right. So if I show you how to put the couch cover on the right way, or I show you how to care for it, or wash stains or red wine out of that couch, right, the right way to make it last, people trust your brand. They think the product's quality. They trust you. They know your customer service is good. Those things pay dividends. And those are easy upsells, secondary content, right? Easy upsell, cross sell, dedicated message, easy upsell, cross sell at that point. So I said a lot of things. I'll let you ask whatever you kind of find most interested in, but those are the ones I do. Welcome message, browse abandonment, cart abandonment, 3 essentials, got to have them. Build the email list, do a post purchase message. Like that's my starting point there. And then I start syncing my behaviors off to my retargeting on paid search and paid social. And then you just keep the flywheel going, right? We're back to that flywheel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually interesting, especially like with all the post or post purchase like messages you mentioned, because that's the thing we use, or a couple of our customers use as well a lot in their shops. Actually, they enhance, for example, all the product information inside their shops already, that they have all, like, as well, the post purchase informations. For example, like you mentioned, how to clean the couch, what is a perfect product which works perfectly with that product at the end of the day. And therefore you could actually automatically create landing pages for that with more
Yeah.
information. You can target these landing pages uh, all of the sudden. And therefore, you could enhance your post type of the product, for example, with some similar products which fit perfect to that. And you take all of this data and automatically launch a landing page for that with a couple of clicks, because that's at the end of the day, for example, with Greyd, really easy with our feature global content, where you can say, okay, I use the data from my shop and I push it to another WordPress instance, which might run even on a different server, different hoster, whatever. It's two separate installations, but they can talk to each other. And you, because at the end of the day, there's always one person who has to like update certain information for a product, whether it's on an external data source or external system just hooked up to an e-commerce web shop, or if it's in the e-commerce solution in WooCommerce, for example, you update the data and maybe you have 2 or 3 landing pages for that specific product to build the entire user flow. And you just update your product and it automatically takes the data and transfers it over to a couple of other landing pages. And therefore, with global content, you do this with one click. You even could store presets of these landing pages, and okay, I want to just try a different landing page with like a different structure, for example, for a specific user group, and with the click of a button, you can display that. I can show you that real quick. Might be interesting as well. So,
Yeah, and while you're loading that,
yeah,
I'll just fill in some of the gaps. So feel free to load it up, and I'll fill some silence here. So think about all the benefits that like messages like this have. So I'll give you an example. My wife bought some makeup a couple weeks ago. Uh, she forwarded me an email, it's a post purchase email, and she's like, "Hey," I was giving a presentation on post purchase. She didn't know. She's like, "Hey, check out this email I got." And it's how to apply that. It's like, now you got the goods, learn how to apply it the right way. Now, she liked the message. She went there, she looked at the tutorial. But even if she's not ready to buy, what you've done as a brand was establish trust. You provided relevant content, not necessarily sales related, but you provided relevant content. Next time she needs a tutorial on something, whether it's blush, whether it's lipstick, whatever it is, she looks at them as the expert, right? And she's going there first. That's your first touch. So like these things pay dividends beyond like what the e-commerce platform is going to tell you as far as a sales number, right? So this is where like that holistic thinking really is important for today's e-commerce brands.
yeah. All right. So I finished up the sharing. I just opened this up. Okay. So for example, we have here in our furniture store, we have like one product, which could be this couch actually. And we do want to give our users some external like informations for in a specific performance landing page which we could target with an ad campaign, for example. But we want to make sure that this website is lightning fast without all of the scripts from a WooCommerce shop, for example, who potentially could slow down your website at the end of the day. And what we actually can do really easy is just create an external landing page. Just a really quick example. We already have all the data from the web shop available here, but there is no shop system up and running. And therefore we have the name of the product, which is the blob, and we have like the pricing. We could put in some additional products as well, like for cleaning the couch or some elements which could fit perfectly like a cushion or something like that. And if we update this at one time, because there is an update of the product, we could really easy do that. So for example, we go back into our web shop, which is again on another WordPress instance. And for example, let's change just the image. We use this as our hero image. And we could update this and update, for example, the price, maybe reduce the price. Let's go with $4.99 instead. And we update the post. So first of all, it's updated in my shop and it's already updated in all landing pages without having me to log on and specifically change this, change this there. It's already done. I just need to reload. And this works in real time with hundreds of potential pages. So you
Yeah,
could,
that's really cool.
yeah. So what you can do with that is with just a click of a button, you can first of all update all of your pages with 2 clicks. You can even launch more of these landing pages and you can fill them with all kinds of different data. So that's actually what scaling means from technical perspective when we're talking about integrated ecosystem.
Yeah, it's important too, right? It's a time saver for anyone using it, which is critical. We need to focus our time on growing other parts of the business and as many parts of that business as possible. So it's a great solution.
Yeah. And you save, I mean, what you negate with that as well is the potential human error, because yeah, if you do this all manually, you forgot something here, you forgot something that, and yeah, if you scale over time, it's crucial to have all of these parts automated as well. Yeah.
So, Thomas, I'm thinking as we're going through here with the global content. So, I'm thinking through the automations we talked about before. And one of the first things, we spend so much time talking about building trust. So, welcome messages, right? That initial message that sends when someone's brand new to the email program. Those people, they know about the brand because they're on the website, but they might not know much about the brand, right? Its products, its value adds, things like that. So, typically within a welcome series, we want to establish the trust. We want to introduce them to products. So I'm sitting here thinking that, hey, can I get a set landing page campaign that has, let's use that couch as an example. It's the main hero image that we're introducing in that welcome email. Is it possible for me to set a campaign just for welcome recipients when they click there and then they're greeted with a specific landing page or set of landing pages for only new customers?
Yeah, you can actually build that because when it comes to these landing pages, we can as well use our feature conditional content again because we know, okay, that's completely fresh customer. We want to display this, and if it could be a recurring customer, we could change, for example, specific parts of that. That's obviously possible. Um, yeah, you could target that through like an email campaign or just a message, or like you wanted to do, or through a social media channel. It's obviously possible, definitely. All
I
right.
think it's a good use case.
Yeah, perfect. So, I think we tackled a lot of different topics today. Let's do a little recap what we're actually talked about today. We're talked about, or we looked on the perspective of building websites and building e-commerce brands from different perspectives. From, for example, one from a technical perspective with Greyd, what's actually possible even with WooCommerce and the WordPress platform. From the Omnisend perspective, how to keep our customers on the website as long as possible, how to get them back when they already purchased some of our products, what could be an accompanying product. And so, Greg, what do you want to share with our customers to give a little wrap up?
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the conversation very much. So we talked a lot about, as you just mentioned, right, different automations, different things we can do. And for someone maybe is newer to this or is listening to this and going, "And it sounds like a lot," right? I would just caution people that it's not a lot and it doesn't have to be complex. So robust, intuitive doesn't mean complex and advanced or overly advanced, I should say. So when I approach from an email standpoint, I look at it this way. Small, simple things matter. So do one thing at a time, just implement it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Does not need to be a perfect thing. So if you have a welcome series, right? You want three messages and you've got one done and the first one's not perfect. It's okay. Automate it, start sending it, let the data come in, let it do its job, add the second one as time goes, go back and optimize them as time goes. But get the fundamentals down. Get your pop-up collect email addresses, get a welcome message sending, get a cart abandonment sending. And again, they don't need to be perfect. These workflows, if you use Omnisend, we have templated workflows. So we pre-built the workflows. You can customize them, but you can get them going in literally minutes. So we make it super intuitive for you, make it allow you to set up. So I would say focus on the small, simple things first, right? Don't feel you need to be perfect. Don't feel you need to do everything at once and just implement it from there. So it's the turtle, right? The small, steady pace wins the race. Don't feel overwhelmed. If you do feel overwhelmed, contact me. I'll walk you through it. I'll talk you off the ledge, and we'll be good there. So I would say that. And then for those unfamiliar with OmniCenter, you want to give us another checkout. If you checked us out a couple of years ago, we're completely the platform is night and day from where it was a couple of years ago. So omnisend.com. You can sign up for free. It's no credit card required. So we have a free plan. You get 24/7 support. Even with a free plan, we have a plug and play integration with WooCommerce, and we don't gate certain parts of the platform. So if you're on the free plan, you want to use all the automations, we let you. So that's the awesome part. And mentioned we're customer funded. So we're approachable, we're easy, you can get a hold of us. And if we're not the right fit for you, we'll tell you we're not the right fit for you. So I would just say thank you everyone for the time. Check out omnisend.com. Reach out to me if you have any questions as well. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me there.
Greg, thank you so much being a part of our today's episode. And yeah, I invite everyone as well to visit Omnisend on their website to try out their awesome product. You can combine the product with Greyd as well. We from Greyd give you as well access to a free test version. You can test it as long as you'd like. There is no limitation about functionality and the time. You can test it and maybe, yeah, already combine the test version of Omnisend and the test version of Greyd in combination with WooCommerce and yeah, start building an awesome e-commerce platform as Greg already mentioned. It's not, it has not to be perfect from the get-go. It's always an iteration when it comes down to marketing campaigns as well as building a website, doing design. Just keep starting and yeah, just improve over time because we all build products with like you can look at the data, you can look at the data of your visitors, and over time you improve these kinds of platforms. So yeah, check out our websites, check out our tools. We're more than welcome to give you advice. If you have some questions, just approach us and make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. If you're up for it, in our next episode, we will tackle the mysteries of multi-sites with our CTO, Jacob, and our special guest will be Robert Windisch from Site. They developed a really nice plugin some of you might already know, which is Multilingual Press. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and that you get notified when the episode will be live. Thank you so much. Thank you, Greg. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.